Europeans into a New Europe, the podcast about inspiring projects
all over Europe with Jana,
José,
Paula, Roksana.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Europeans into a New Europe.
Woo.
And today I'm with Paula visiting, and we have the chance to do our first episode together. So yeah,
True.
Thank you.
Not over Zoom, not via distance.
Yeah.
We are seeing each other face to face, sitting in front of each other.
In the same room, which is pretty cool. And hopefully the audio quality will also be good, better than the one recorded over Zoom. So yeah, and today we're wanting to talk to you about or present to you something very cool that we've been involved in. Recently, me, Paula, and Roksana, we've been to 3 different cities for 3 different events together with the European Charlemagne Youth Prize alumni. And if you remember anything about this podcast, then maybe you know that last year, I believe, we won the Charlemagne Prize, Youth Prize. And now we are, former winners and part of this alumni network of amazing people all over Europe that are doing, or that have executed and put into practice amazing projects. And now we want to bring these people together and to share also like ideas and skills and all that to the table. So I was in Brussels in one of these meetings with other people, and we discussed the basis of what the alumni network should be about. And
I went to Aachen for the Europe Summit or something. It belongs to the big Charlemagne Prize ceremony. It's all over the year. I think in Aachen they have different events, and for the summit we were invited. Some former winners from this European Youth Charlemagne Prize. We were invited to take part. And then Roksana went to Prague for another event. I think it was the kickoff meeting for the alumni network in general. Yeah. So in this episode we want to talk a bit about that. Maybe José, you can start with the activity you did in Brussels. What was it?
Yeah, so in Brussels I was together with a bunch of other youth people at the Level Up bootcamp organized by the European Parliament. And I was also involved in activities developed for these Charlemagne alumni to know more about each other. And it was very interesting to get to know all the different people that have developed projects in their own countries, in their own cities or villages. And kind of just to be together and to draw or to think of how we can collaborate in the future to create more, let's say, more international projects, or kind of learn from each other. So it was pretty cool to be in this bootcamp, to learn new things with the professionals from the European Parliament, because we took there were these activities at the Parliament over 2 days, very different types of workshops, and then also to talk with people that are involved in youth work and to see what they have done to engage their communities. Was pretty nice. And
how many participants were there, roundabout?
I have no idea, but for the Level Up, certainly more than 1,000 people.
Oh, okay.
But for the Charlemagne, I think we were maybe 50.
Okay, that's a lot.
There's the Charlemagne Youth Prize has been going for
more than 10 years or something. Yeah, 15.
And so there's a lot of former winners for sure, and people who won and they are still involved in the youth work. So everyone has their experience and is very willing to share best practices and their skills and so on.
So I guess then people who won the Charlemagne Youth Prize how old? I mean, there must be also people who were a bit older than 30 or 20, no? If they won those prizes 15 years ago, they're also, that's cool.
Exactly.
If you stay engaged, because winning a prize with a cool project is one thing, but then if you keep engaged over the following years, that's even better, because when it's sustainable, I think it's more beneficial than just
that's
one
also
thing.
That's something very interesting that I'm now noticing that is hard for me to get in touch with, because and one of the people I met in Brussels, she's from Italy, and she also has more or less this problem, which is to stay active in like kind of this community or social international projects while you're working, while you have a career or whatever you want to call it. Because a lot of the people there are still active in youth work is because their main work is that. They have their own association or they work for association. And in those contexts, of course, it's easier to stay engaged. But if you have a job and if you still want to do something related to youth, then it gets pretty tough, to manage the time and to find motivation also and energy in the end of the day. So I guess like this alumni network is also a very good opportunity for people who, I mean, have developed projects in the past, but now are more focused, let's say, on their own careers, to kind of develop something that is more or less in line with the time that is available for these type of people, let's say. So it's also good that you have people from different walks of life, but more like walks of labor or like work life, I mean. So that it's easier to collaborate with these people because they see the world from your perspective as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
what about you? Well, I was in Aachen.
Well, in Aachen, there was not the focus on the youth Charlemagne Prize. As I said, it belonged to the big Charlemagne Prize, which is given to politicians, and all over the year they have like programs and events and stuff, and it belonged to this program. It was called the Karlspreis Europa Summit, and it was organized by this Charlemagne Foundation and the government of North Rhine-Westphalia, so like a region in Germany. And there were like also quite high politicians, for example Guy Verhofstadt, he was the Belgian minister, I think, and there were like talks about the European Union, how it should be in the future, especially regarding the war in Ukraine, for example. And then there were different panels, not only about Europe or the European Union, but also, for example, about gender policies, which was very interesting. And our role there, so there were also around 10 or 15 members from or former winners of the Charlemagne Youth Prize. And in the morning we had like a youth breakfast, so that was the session with and for the youth, and we talked about it, how we can implement a network around this European Charlemagne Youth Prize, how to keep people engaged, and how we can organize this network and in which direction it should go. Whether we want people to be engaged on a regular basis, or whether there should be one event per year, for example, a very big one where everyone can come. But I mean, those are topics which are way too broad to discuss within 1 or 2 hours. But we did a start, which was cool.
And you talked with Benjamin Sibyl, one of the driving forces, I would say, of the alumni of Charlemagne Youth Prize. We have a little recording interview that I did with him.
So let's listen to it. So Benjamin, what is the goal of the network?
This network of young alumni, I think the goal is also to bring more contact between those very peculiar people that got the Charlemagne Prize. And when I said peculiar people, it's not so much about them, but about what they did. Because basically we have a unique framework of young people, and maybe not so young, because the prize is existing now for 15 years, who have accomplished ground projects, contributing to the European Union general interest, but also local general interest, national general interest, and so on. And so the goal of this network is first try to have a more permanent contact between those people to do more projects. Because of course, all of those, I mean, we have like a really big organization who got the prize. We have also a small organization, and those organizations and people, they can help each other. So providing trainings for them, but also for the general public. Then they can also, of course, learn together, doing field trips, trying to know better about the European Union in order, again, to improve what they do at the general level. But I think if we have to sum it up on one word, it will be projects, We want to do more projects. We got this prize because we did one, and now we want to do more together.
And tell us a bit more, what did we actually do today in Aachen?
We did so much, Aachen, it's always fun and games, but actually it was quite serious today. So we had this meeting with the foundation of the Charlemagne Prize and also the European Parliament administration, because of course, in order to bring to life this network, this is something we want to do in a very articulated way with those two partners. Then we had time to kind of discuss what will be our next actions, what we want to achieve in the 6 coming months. And actually we'll pursue this discussion in Prague. And then we had this very big conference. It's called the Karlspreis Europa Summit. And we had the occasion to meet the fellowship of the Charlemagne Prize, so those young PhDs that the foundation helped in order to bring more expertise at the European Union level. And then we had, for this evening that will soon start with the dinner, we had the occasion to exchange and discuss a bit with the former Prime Minister of Belgium, Guy Verhofstadt. So it was quite full, I will say. But I think it's what is really full is what we get from memories from this day, and also more inspiration for the days to come.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Really nice to hear from him and getting to meet him and all these amazing people, because I think one thing that I got from these, or like from going to Brussels and meeting these people, was really the energy and the inspiration and the motivation to do something. Because, well, this year you were doing you recorded some episodes of our podcast, and I was a little bit on the, managing or like more in the background, and I wasn't really, I wouldn't say interested, but I wasn't motivated to record. But ever since I went to Brussels and met these new people with all these projects, it really got me back, let's say, on track.
Yeah.
And I think if it wasn't for them, and of course for Anna, which was the guest I interviewed on last episode, I probably would still not have been back. You know? So I think it's really nice to... Yeah.
I think that's one of the main benefits of having a network. Of course, you have projects which you can do together, and it's cool to meet the people, but it also shows you that you're not alone doing something cool, and you can get motivation from other people, because same for me, if I'm there on my laptop editing the new podcast episode, it's not the most funniest activity I can imagine, but like if you meet people and then you see, okay, what I'm doing
actually
inspires
has an
others,
impact, and
then that's the motivation, I think, which drives a lot of actions, I guess.
Yeah, and it's kind of what he was saying about the projects too, that we want to be part, and like the motivation in collaboration too, because if you do something that is just for yourself, and if you've never that is just for yourself, then you'd never really, or there's little that you can grow with that.
Yeah.
But if you collaborate with others, then of course your impact can be much wider.
That's true.
And that is very important, I think. And
and the third activity in the third country, actually, in the third city and the third person, Roksana, she went to Prague, for the Kickoff Event of the foundation of this alumni network of the Charlemagne Youth Prize alumni network. And Roksana, I think she will tell us a bit more about what she did there and what it was all about.
The first day was very representing day. On the hand, we're talking about the very crucial for the building network issues. For example, structure, for example, the election for the board, who now preparing more details about the network. But we have also very interesting guests. And we can just get the Czech perspective and Czech thinking about Europe and European Union. The first or second panel the guest was Michaela Sojdrova, member of the European Parliament, who are taking care about education, but now also about agriculture. And she gave us perspective of European and European challenges, for example, in context about the war in Ukraine. So it was very, very interesting. My favorite panel was with the journalist Vendula Kazlauskas, and she talking about the Czech presidency in European Union. And it's very interesting because on the hand, the Czech society is not very optimistic in the context of the European Union, but during this presidency, they started to be proud of this because the Czech have very, very important mission. For example, in the context, like we said before, war in Ukraine and also with gas deal. The special guest of the meeting was Hans-Gert Pöttering, President of the European Parliament from January 2007 to July 2009. He is very special because he support to set up this community, the Ecyp Alumni. And I think so it was very, very nice when after his speech, he also stayed for another panels and listening not only the guest, but also our members who talk about their project. For me, the most beautiful and moving part was the meeting with the coordinators and volunteers from Dobrowolnickie Centrum Ustí nad Labem, who talk about their experience with the project, of course, European Solidarity Corps and Solidarity Projects. It was very, very emotional because they talk also about how they support local community, but also Ukrainian refugees who are living with them nowadays. And I think so it's very important sign of our what's meaning for us European values. We had also the very seriously talking how about the notes from the Aachen, from the notes from the Brussels, and we a little bit talking about this because everyone has a different point of view, everyone has a different experience, and everyone and every project and every organization, NGOs, have a little bit different point of view. What should be alumni? It should be only the people who won prize, or maybe somebody who are engaged in the alumni project, maybe somebody from jury, maybe not. So it was very interesting question about this, and we tried to answer. Of course, these 2 full days, it's not enough to answer for all question. I know the people who elected from the board now working very hard, and I hope we find the way, just work together and make better for the Europe. I want to say you at the end, the community, the build community and with the networking and being on meeting like this is just fun. Of course, it's a little bit work. You can be tired at the end of the day, just because it's a lot of panelists, there's a lot of talking, there's in the thinking in English. But we have I think so 3, or maybe I'm thinking about more reason that it's fun. First of all, you meet new people and from different countries, but also different personality, and you can learn a lot from them. You can get inspired from them, like from the energy, from the ideas, from the creativity. Even just talking about the lifestyle, you can just get a lot of for yourself. Second is sharing of knowledge. For example, I didn't know about the European initiative, and it's very interesting, not project. You can just for yourself, for your project, from your action, looking for the science from your Europeans, and if you just collect 1 million signs, you can just go to your European Parliament and say, hey, here is my project. you should look at this and maybe we can make European law. We have NGOs who focus more on social life, like focus on education, but we have NGOs who focus on European policy. We have a project about the art. For example, how to talk about Europe through the art and through the interview, through the photography. So yes, in this exchange of knowledge, of ideas. And third, I think so a good reason is the free time. And for example, we can going to the Prague, visit the very beautiful place, also meet the Czech culture, and fourth maybe reason is also break the ice to talk in English. You can hear my English is not the best, but because I'm just enjoy of this meeting, I just joined to this meeting, I can talk with English with another people, so it's also a very big plus. I hope, guys, the people who I meet in Prague soon, some of them it's appearance here. Yeah, let's go, let's start. See you and Happy New Year.
So we will see how it will continue in this year in 2023, how the projects will develop and what else is there to come.
Yeah, I mean, I hope a lot of collaboration, a lot of new projects, honestly. And yeah, also traveling as well.
Always nice to go to projects to Brussels, Aachen and Prague.
But mostly like with these events, I'm very glad with with all these people that I've met, and they're really inspiring. And it's nice also to see people that have the same interests as you. And it would also be nice to those who are still listening to know who you are, and if you could leave us a review or anything, wherever you listen to the podcast. And who knows? I mean, now we're recording with a real microphone, but who knows if in the future we'll afford another one, and if our production will increase in size, and who knows? I mean, the future is to be written, and I guess we're the writers, so
that's a very nice closing word, I guess.
Good luck to us and to everyone in following their dreams and what they want to do.
With this, I think we can end this episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.